Good morning. That Christmas music, it's a good thing. My name's John McLean, and it's the privilege of a lifetime to get to be the minister here at Unity of Nashville. And if this is your very first time here, I'm so happy that you stumbled upon us out there in internet world. And if you have been with us, either through this live stream or in person over many decades, I know that there will be an idea, a word, an image, or perhaps a song lyric that you will feel is just for you today. And that's the way this works. And so welcome one and welcome all. Unity of Nashville is a church that prays. And when we say pray, we don't ever mean begging or asking, but affirming a profound truth. And so we have a prayer that we share every week. It's in your hymnal, your e-hymnal, right on the bottom. And it embodies a word, an idea from today's message. That's why I do it. And I will be saying this every night at 9 o'clock at Upon Rising, and sometimes throughout the day as well. And I invite you to join me in that. But let's all say it together right now, shall we? In the infinity of life where I am, all is perfect, whole, and complete. I delight in the way things are, for joy is my nature. With trust and thanks, the people said, Amen. And now would you let us know how we can enfold your concerns, your needs, or your celebrations in prayer? Please enter them in if you're at a computer or a tablet or an iPhone. Let us know how we can hold you in prayer. You know, I take all these requests into our noon gathering, which anyone and everyone is certainly welcome to join. There's a hot link in your weekly news. But at exactly noon on Wednesdays, there's a group that gathers by Zoom to hold these prayer requests dear to our heart. I would also say there are a couple of congregants, and God knows who they are, who have asked for prayer today, and so I am enfolding them. Yes, I will say this now. There are a couple of folks that have passed. I know I shared last week that Dylan Burnett's mom had passed on the 7th, but Joe Russell's father passed this week, and Fran Overall's dad died just this morning. And so we are all being affected by loss right now. And know that for those who have gone on, that they are forever enfolded in love and unfolding in glory. And for those who remain, that there is peace and strength and comfort enough to carry on. Thank you, Brooke. Our live stream today is brought to you by the 12 Powers. I know you know that by now, but today's sponsor is joy, and joy is a power of consciousness that allows enthusiasm to flow effortlessly through my life. It is my affirmative impulse to all of existence. Your 12 powers are a gift from God, and they help you thrive in every area of your life. And of course, this entire ministry is only made possible because of the generosity of people like you. I'd like to tell you that today is Dr. Jack Tyson's birthday. So if Helen and Dr. Jack are watching, happy birthday to you, friend. And we will be here outdoors on Thursday night. So if anybody wants to come by, and we found a fine new product that we'll be sharing with you. It's called Eggnog Latte from Starbucks. So we're giving it away here, as well as hot chocolate. So come by and light a candle, and from a distance wave to people that you know and love. And other than that, we'll have Burning Bowl on New Year's Eve at 5 p.m. Christmas Eve is any time between 4 and 6. So please just simply drop by then. Our gratitude practice, let's do that now. So I invite you to unfold in your heart, however that is, what it is you're grateful for. That might be a stretch right now for many of us. I know I'm in a year-end kind of review, and this has been unusual. This has been unique in all of our lives. And there has been great loss. I hope there has not been amongst young people a loss of enthusiasm and trust that life is yet waiting for them to create their lives. And yet there is much to be grateful for. So much to be grateful for. I'll share one or two things about that in the talk. But this is the time to share, again, so we'll know how this year has been for you, and perhaps what you learned about yourself. And how can one be grateful in difficult times? It's a spiritual practice for sure. And so I invite you to think about that for a moment, and let's all sing together. Shall we do that? To the God of your understanding, whatever that might be, we do thank you for the good that has been realized this very challenging year. But we take time to pause and to be grateful for it, to be mindful. And for those areas where we are overflowing, we are committed over again to sharing generously with the world. And so it is, and amen. Dave, before we roll into this, I want to set this up a little. May I have a moment to do that? This happens to be one of my favorite songs. And it's by a great writer named Kathy Truckley. And Brooke, bless her heart, has sung that each Christmas Eve while we've done a more traditional narrative unfolding of the Nativity story. And you know, if you have ever been present for any of my Christmas Eves, you know that I think it's Mary's story. The Nativity is not about Jesus, it's Mary's story. Front, center, she is a hero. Where an ordinary girl all of a sudden is asked to undertake some extraordinary thing. And then she and her partner, while she is great with child, need to leave their home in the fashion of a refugee to go elsewhere. All the while, she maintains grace and poise. For all of us who have experienced a displacement this year, and we have, this is such a great song to unfold those feelings with.
So good, and life can be so hard, never knowing what each day will bring to where you are. And sometimes I forget, and sometimes I can't see that whatever comes my way, you'll be with me. My life is in your hands. My heart is in your keeping. I'm never without hope, not when my future is with you. My life is in your hands, and though I may not see it clearly, I will lift my voice and sing, 'cause your love does amazing things. Lord, I know my life is in your hands. Nothing is for sure, and nothing is for keeps. All I know is that your love will live eternally. So I will find my rest, and I will find my peace, knowing that you'll meet my every need. My life is in your hands. My heart is in your keeping. I'm never without hope, not when my future is with you. My life is in your hands, and though I may not see it clearly, I will lift my voice and sing, 'cause your love does amazing things. Lord, I know my life is in your hands. When I'm at my weakest, love, you carry me, and I'll become my strongest, love, in your hands. My life is in your hands. My heart is in your keeping. I'm never without hope, not when my future is with you. I
So this would be now the fourth week of Advent. 4 weeks leading up to Christmas. And there are themes for those who were raised in Christian communities of one kind or another. They're generally themes for each of the 4 weeks of Advent. And the first week is hope, and the second week is peace. And last week we spoke about love. And this week I want to share a few thoughts that I have about joy. And what does joy really mean? I think media such as it is, or television or movies, even going back to the invention of visual media, have always led us to feel that joy is some kind of over-exuberant thing. Some kind of manic celebration about tearing around and feeling whoopee and having roller coaster kind of emotions about something. Joy is often conflated with fun, and fun's a good thing. Church is fun. My work is fun. But what of joy? What of joy? Well, you know, there's a lot to be said if we simply go back and look at this definition of joy from these 12 powers. It allows enthusiasm to flow effortlessly through my life. It's my affirmative impulse to all of existence. Well, no, you're all enough. You're all students enough to know that enthusiasm comes from the Greek word enthusiasmos, which is to be inhabited by God. Theos, God, and theos, enthusiasmos. And to be aware that there is such a quality of the life and creative principles that are inherent within every single person ought to, when we are aware of that, allow us to participate freely, fully, without resistance in every area of our lives. It ought allow us to see things as they truly are. And in all situations, to take delight in them. Does it mean they're easy? Not necessarily, no. But to see things as they are allows us to be fully present. And to be fully present is, for me, an aspect that I call joy. It's not a hurrying up kind of thing. It's more of a slowing down. Resisting, as it is written, resisting the headlong tumble into the next moment until we pause and there find gratitude and recognition. In those moments, joy resides in its fullness, where we feel in community, we feel our own sense of completeness, and we know that all possibilities exist equally in the future, which is yet to be defined, and it is defined only by right of consciousness in your mind and in your life. That ought to be, if this is new for you, the best news you ever heard in your life, because joy is deeply understanding that truth. Even Thoreau, Henry David Thoreau, wrote 150 years ago, or maybe it's closer to 200 years ago now, that I know of no more encouraging truth than the unquestioned ability of one to elevate their life by means of conscious endeavor. No more encouraging truth than that. Available to all people, everywhere, for those who are motivated enough to make a claim on consciousness. This allows a feeling of rightness to arise in our bodies as a feeling, frankly, of correctness, of fullness, of purpose. And for me, that is joy. That is joy. Whether or not you get that pony for Christmas, there's still plenty to be joyful about. On Christmas Eve, traditionally, I have read something, and I did share it with my Friday morning group. So for those of you that were in the group, I'm going to repeat this because I got excited reading this all over again. And it was given to me by a friend and a congregant from my church in Seattle. And I trust she's watching today. I'll say good morning, Mary Ellen Johnson. This is a piece that was written by a Renaissance monk in the year 1513. That's a little more than 500 years ago. And he wrote this to his patron. And he wrote, "On this day I salute you. I am your friend, and my love for you goes deep. There is nothing I can give you which you do not have, but there is much, very much, that while I cannot give it, you can take. No heaven can come to us unless our hearts find rest in it today. So take heaven. No peace lies in the future which is not hidden in the present little instant. Take peace. The gloom of the world is but a shadow. Behind it, yet within our reach, is joy. There is radiance and glory in darkness, but we could see, and to see we have only to look. So I beseech you to look and to take joy. Life is so generous a giver. But we, judging its gifts by their covering, cast them aside as ugly or heavy or hard. Remove the covering, and you will find beneath it a living splendor, woven of love by wisdom with power. Welcome it, grasp it. You touch the angel's hand that brings it to you. Life is so full of meaning and purpose, so full of beauty beneath its covering, that you will find earth but cloaks your heaven. So courage then to claim it, that is all. But courage you have, and the knowledge that we are all pilgrims together, wending through unknown country towards home. This Christmas, this year, this decade, this day, at long last, there is nothing of eternal value that we can give each other that we do not already have. But the gift that we share is one of helping us to remember, yes? Of helping us to remember, because as the good Fra writes here, that life can be covered with so many activities, incidents, and doings that are hard or ugly or heavy. But beneath them, there is an ultimate reality, which is the life principle itself. The thing that creates that outside of ourselves and within ourselves. And let me please read this one poetic line over again. Remove the covering, and you will find beneath it a living splendor, woven of love by wisdom with power. And that is how all of us bring the good that we seek to experience in the world into creation. All of us have love, wisdom, and power, and perhaps the conflating of those ideas is in itself a definition of what joy is. When we remember that, yes, of course, that we are the primary creative forces of our own lives, no matter what else is exterior to us or what else comes to us or happens to us, but there is that in us that is wisdom and love, power. And our world is a world to recreate fresh every day. If we take time to remember that. You know, tomorrow is the 21st. It's the winter solstice. Shortest day, longest night. And for, I guess, I don't know where this is visible, but we've all seen it in the papers and on Facebook. There's a celestial miracle tomorrow night, which we can see at about 5 to 5:30. And it's the phenomenon that supposedly is the Star of Bethlehem. It's a coming together of Saturn and Jupiter. And so when the two planets appear to be in such close proximity, it looks unique and exceptionally bright. For those of us in Tennessee, I believe the night's supposed to be clear. And I have a ritual which is one of my spiritual practices, is about slowing down, where I take time every night to watch the sunset. And I have watched Saturn in the southwest sky and Jupiter come closer and closer and closer together over the last many months. They're still billions of miles apart. However, they appear that they're going to bump into each other tomorrow night. The Star of Bethlehem, maybe. This is what the three kings saw, perhaps. It doesn't matter. But what can matter is if you act as if it really does. And for the first time in 400 years, there's going to be a special kind of starlight. There's going to be a harmony in the southwest sky, just for you. And why not take that moment between 5:30, 6 o'clock, and if you can see it in the southwest, observe it. And I also invite you to light a candle, a real candle, with a real wooden match, and to pause, to get in touch with an eternal quality within you, which is joy, which is your joy of living, of what you anticipate in the new year, in the new decade, of what you plan, what you intend on creating and bringing forth into this world. I invite you to spend however much time you can in quiet contemplation and act as if there is some magical power. Act as if, when you light your candle, the whole planet starts to respond by beginning a tilt back towards the light, towards possibility. Act as if you're the one that makes that happen. And through your positivity, your joy, imagine and call forth, name and claim all that good that is yet to be realized in your life just for you. Again, you know, as I look at these words from this beautiful Renaissance monk, there is nothing of lasting value that anyone can give us that we do not already have. So have it. Be joyful about all the things you are. Be content with your enoughness. As I close, I'm reminded in real time here of the first psalm, Psalm number 1, which is very short. But it reads, "Blessed are the man and the woman who have grown beyond greed and hatred and no longer nourish illusion, but delight in the way things are. They keep their hearts open day and night. They are like trees planted by flowing waters. Their leaves will not wither and fall. Everything they do will succeed." Joy to you. Let's prepare for some quiet time, shall we, David? And breathe deep. Tomorrow being a quiet night, and even today being cloudy and dark. What possibilities can you bring forth? Because truly, it's for each of us to do. No matter the external circumstances, there are possibilities for all of us because of this astonishing consciousness. So remove the covering of what you find difficult, and beneath it, let the splendor of your own self be revealed, The splendor that you are be revealed. And ask your soul to be still as we regard each other. Even through this amazing network that is a field of grace, this intentional community, as our gift to each other in the silence, let's consider each other perfect, whole, complete, lacking nothing, woven of love, by wisdom, with power. In the silence together now. The poet writes, "Be not too curious of good and evil, and seek not to count the future ways of time, but be ye satisfied. There is light enough to take your step and find your foothold." Deep peace, contentment, pure joy is the very essence, maybe, of what we call soul. It is the source and endless resource of supply for the healing, for the creating, and for the thriving of our own individual lives, to be effective and gracious participants in the family of man. Whether or not you feel like it is immaterial, but at some point you will realize that that is true for you too. And so, by way of affirmative prayer, I accept this truth for myself, for everyone here today, and for all people everywhere living in this wonderful, beautiful water planet we call home. And some of us are aware of it, and many of us are not. But our work here is to see all people everywhere as spiritual masters, even if they have forgotten it. And from that joyful observation, we can know our place and call it good. Together, the people said amen. Breathe deep, huh? In the beginning was the gift. And the gift, frankly, is breath. Do not take it for granted. I have a little year-end comment I'd like to make also. This has been a challenging year for everybody. For some of us, unspeakable loss. And we've not experienced that in this ministry for the 5 years I've been here. But I cannot help but remember one of the last things we did when we gathered was we celebrated the life of Carolyn Foster. And then we went into isolation. And we've all learned a lot about how we can do this and whether it's effective or not. And the first service I did, I think it was March 13th, my iPhone was sideways. Nevertheless, I was here in this sanctuary. And then the first two people the week after that, I think, were Garrett Fracall and David Lukens. And then they were joined again by Brooke and Vincent and Chris, and then by Carter and Reed. Even in the months at first when we were very insecure and in lockdown, they were here in order to help us create overnight a new notion of community. We are far from being back to normal, a word that I continue to banish from my vocabulary. And yet, sooner rather than later, we will be here this time next year. Can you do it? I hope so. I pray that you can. For those who have not suffered great financial loss, thank you for making all of this possible. You have been uniquely generous. Uniquely generous. And my heart has been really touched by the constancy of all y'all, as you like to say here in the South. I'm thankful and with a great sense of joy that we continue to be here as we will be every Sunday forever, because it matters so much. Because joy is something that happens alone, but is mostly realized when we are together. And so, even though this is not New Year's Eve, for all that has been, so be it. But for all that is yet to be, let us say yes. And again, a deep thanks to the people that have helped me reinvent what it is that we do here, and to be able to do it with a certain kind of confidence. That's been fabulous. And to all the musicians, and Miss Brooke, who has been here for 5 years with me. Brooke sang, you're looking at my bald spot. That's bad TV. Brooke sang on my very first day here, which I remember. I was sitting over there. And for our new musicians, that's Sam and Chris. There's some joy to make and some joy to share. And I believe in the value of that more than ever. So I say thank you. I will thank you for your presence here today. Knowing that you were there helps us to shape and to receive quality of joy, of rightness, of purpose, of positivity and creativity and support. So thank you for your presence. Thank you for keeping your commitment. Because spiritual growth happens when we keep our commitments. I know that fellowship only happens when we support each other on our journey. And so be supportive of people's most worthy ambitions. Be supportive. It means so much, a simple word of encouragement. And as always, you pray for me and I'm going to pray for you, because that's what God's children do. And so a prayer for protection. Let's get our mojo going as if we're making magic for the very first time, for those who are suffering, for those in the front lines, for those in the shadows of life or near death. Let us know that the light of God surrounds you, the love of God enfolds you, the power of God protects you, and the presence of God watches over you. For wherever we are, God is, and all is well. And as if for the first time, let's sing the peace song, shall we?
Let there be peace peace on earth, then let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be. With God as creator, family all are we. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. you.